That was not even Gabby's voice. All right, so we're recording. I already did the whole problem, but I'll just kind of mention what we just did. Recording. So we said a system of equations means that there are two rules. So in this particular problem, the two rules were the sum of two numbers has to equal 12. The difference of two numbers has to be 4. Sum means addition, difference means subtraction. First, we just solved it out, and we came up with this. Two numbers added together have to be 12, and then those same two numbers subtracted are 4. And then we came up with the variables and the equations over here. So, and then we solved it out right there. How did we get y? We plug it, once you remember, whenever you solve for the first variable, you plug it back into one of the equations. So if 8 is plugged in here, what would y have to be to add to 12? It would have to be 4. Or I could have plugged it in here. You guys always ask me, which equation do I pick? Doesn't matter. If I plug in 8 here, well, y still has to be 4 to get 4 in the other equation. So it doesn't matter which equation you choose. You do it if you do the math.
So is that just like checking?
No, that's solving. Like that's how you would have to solve if you plug it back in. Yeah, you got to do the first variable, then the second variable. The y is, we didn't know y, right? Y was still a variable. We hadn't solved for that yet. We just solved for x. So we solved it for things. So with that in mind, this is not in your packet. I don't think this page is in your packet. So I want you to do, let me get rid of all of that. Is anybody still writing that before I get rid of it? All right. I want you to do this problem right below it. Could be able to do that. Not any different than what you just did. So write the equation. Don't just solve it. I want you to write the equation. Sum and difference. Same exact problem, just you got a different sum, different difference. But I want you to write the equation. Remember, most of your grade next week is writing equations, not just solving. Actually, there won't be any solving actually on the word problems. I'm not asking you to solve any of the word problems. The only ones you solve will be equations that I already give you. I mean, it's not. It's just out of the past.
All of that for no reason.
Well, I still like taking it. Because those pills are so big, you try to take it with water, right? Like you swallow it.
Look at the pasta.
With the opossum?
Yeah.
You know what we have in 5? Armadillos. There are armadillos. Those are little shiny shit. Yeah, I see them. I see them 2 or 3 times a year. Actually, we have coyotes and foxes in our neighborhood. It's the weirdest thing. It's a fox running up a street, like with in between a bunch of monkeys.
Oh, they're just having
a squirrel. We found a raccoon once. We didn't really have it as a pet, but we kept it until we could get it to like an animal shelter.
Oh my goodness, girl.
All right, so again, sum means addition. Difference means subtraction. You've got to know that. Subtraction. Variables would stand for what? Well, they're unknown, but we're going to assign like some meaning to them. So, yeah, just one of the numbers. Again, if I don't tell you x has to be the bigger number, then you can just say one of the numbers. And y would be the other number. Same exact thing we just did. Actually, this is good that we're doing this since I just started recording. So now we just have to say, okay, well, what's the rule? Well, one of the rules is the difference between them has to be 3. Oh, difference means subtraction. So when I subtract those numbers, I have to get 3. That's the rule. So your rule becomes your equation. The other rule is when I add those numbers, I have to get 13, right? So this was the other rule. Rule number 2. You underline it twice. their sum has to be 13. So I just write that as an equation. One number plus the other number equals 13. And most people, I think, have already solved it because a lot of you solved it first. You should have gotten 8 and 5 for your answer. All right, so open your or find your packet from the other day. I'm going to tell you which problems I expect you to know how to do for the quiz. This was a packet. This was a whole, it had this, what's the first page? That's the first page. Yeah, it should have had a football and a pitcher on it. How much stuff left? Other than that, I had Doritos and hockey I could bring in, or you can have a honey bun or a beer. I'll bring in the hockey Doritos. You're missing the first page. Hold on. We're not, I don't think we're even using that page today. We already actually used it, but. All right, so here are the problems you need to know how to do. So you got to stay with me because there's not pages. Well, there are numbers on some of the pages, but that's not going to help you a whole lot because you'll still have work. On the very first page, so that page, if you do not have that as your first page, let me know now. Because some of them, they didn't staple the first page with the rest of the packet for some reason. The printer does that. That should be the first page you have. All right, so you're doing on that page, number 3 and number 4, you should know how to do. So circle those numbers, 3 and 4. On the next page, it look like that. They have like a little cell phone picture. All 4 of those. Although the top one is probably the least important, but the other ones, you know how to do. And we'll talk about like the similarity. I think I already showed you this one screen that I'll show to you. So now the next page should look like that. It says says system of equations word problems. And then it's got a little space in between those, no pictures or anything. Yeah, so, it actually is in this packet. All right, why I couldn't find it yesterday. So you're doing 1, 2, and 4 we actually already did. So you should have had 4. You should have 4 done on that page. And I think did we do another one on that page? No, I don't think so. So next page, we did a lot of them on the next. Well, you should have done a lot of them. So next page is 7 through 11. You need to know how to do 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we did 2 of those, I think, together, and I told you to do the other 2. Nope, not the bottom one. Not the bottom one. Any of the ones that are about like miles and miles per hour, I didn't sign. Those are a little trickier. Hold on, you'll probably see them on the district final. All right, next page is all of the word problems crammed together. So look to be on that page. You need to do 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. And we'll probably do some of these. I'll do 1 or 2 of these maybe today. Help you set them up. Then probably do that again on Tuesday. Probably. I'm going to next page now. On the next page, where it's got like an example problem. I'm very aware it's right. Because I get to go to the golf ball practice. Very aware. Well, it's the one that has an example problem at the top. So we're doing both of those, 1 and 2 on that page. 1 and 2 are similar to what we just did. Even though number 2 doesn't seem like it's similar, it is similar. So it's two numbers have to add up to 100, and then when you subtract them, you get the other number. One is 18 feet longer, so that means one of them is like equals the other one plus 18. So it's similar to what we just did with just the two numbers like this. Next page. So it's got them really spaced out, all three of those, 3, 4, and 5. Hey, do as many of them as you want. And then when I put the exact same problem on the quiz and you didn't try it, try me. That's why I'm giving you so many of them, because the odds are good that these will be the exact same quiz question. Probably want to change one. This class and then 2 things.
To do these.
So 6, 7, 8 on the next page. I think that's it, yeah. I actually have another page in this that I added. Computer guy. So 6 and 7 and 8 for your last 3.
Wait, are all of those like that we did Wednesday?
Some of them we did Wednesday. Some of them I'm going to do another one today from the packet, so you'll have another one done. Get away from my food. Get away from my food. Get away. Steve already filed a report with us.
I said 2 things.
I said, I know who the culprit is.
Someone actually wrong for me. I took 2 things. Ever been here too?
I want a Band-Aid.
I get it again.
Change a Band-Aid for that finger.
What was the mess?
And of course, the best.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, work for a while now. I would try to do, I'll tell you real quick, if you go to that page that has the example up top and just the 2, those are just like what we just did here. You want to practice those real quick since we just did them? I don't know which page it was in the packet. It says at the top, oh, actually here. It says at the top, Math 1, 3-4, System of Equations word problem. Those 2 are exactly like this. Although they say one number is greater than or less than instead of the sum and the difference for the same one.
Are you just stealing a bunch of band-aids now? You know what a kleptomaniac? You might just be a kleptomaniac. You might just like stealing for the thrill of stealing. You got that one. Yeah, you get what you get. Don't go. No.
I actually have 2 things. I'm actually gonna put
You already had a band-aid on one of your foods.
Yeah, but it's falling off, so now I'm getting tired. It's one. Actually, that I didn't. Actually, I'm getting like 3.
Why didn't they get twins? All right, go work. I'll walk around, help.
Friday.
Hey, again, you do what you want to do. And then when the exact same problems show up on the quiz, don't complain. I'm over babysitting and forcing people to do stuff. Yeah, there are some classes where I just let them sit there all class long. No, they can't play on their phone. So they have to just sit there with their head down. Violent. Right here. Funny how often that happens. Kids just don't want to go here. Why would you just pick your kid up if they didn't want to go to class? I would be like, get your you know what to class, and you better do well in that class because I'm going to check with the teacher. Parents are engaged. They want to be your friend.
That's just a lot. One day of school. And mine was excused.
I went to the beach and it was so great. So then yesterday for the day.
Try to go on your flash. Go to the beach.
Oh, yesterday. No, the day before. After my wife's video. She got
Put it back.
okay.
Yeah, I'm watching you, but I don't trust that you're gonna put it back. Go, walk away. Now walk away. Walk away. Jeez. Oh, who had what? I'm glad you had her. Whatever you told her, not eating this time. I'm watching you. I don't know. You got something. You got something. I know for a fact you got something.
You're so funny.
You're doing
I was just laying in my bed. I got next day. I was like, what? How do you find out? I don't know. He said his
You did. You told me. You said, now I don't feel bad about robbing you. You said it, right?
This is so good.
Mr. Gill.
These are mine, girl. I don't know what you He doesn't even have me.
Think right now.
No, it doesn't.
I feel it's always.
He only like
Until I've said.
Mr. Gill.
you say
Mr. Gill. You can't have. That was yesterday.
So the day before I got that, and then the next day I didn't feel good still. And then so in school too. Then I just read her like she wasn't working, so she was fucking if I get home, like right it's like if I go home, I'll just go good minute. It's literally like as soon as we get to I don't think he's going to school. He's continuing this thing. It's very scary.
Not fair, huh? Hey, I will tell you right now, life is not fair. Oh, do I need to? Here, I'm gonna do another problem in a minute because I forgot I'm recording. So I don't want to.
Can you go prep?
Get away. Get away.
I need you prep me something out.
You got like a million Band-Aids.
And I have like a million.
And now it's falling off anyway.
So you prepare.
What? But if you can't print, how do they expect you to print? Printers don't work for students. But how do they expect you to print? Like Miss Rachel knows.
What is it?
She's the one that sent the email. I know.
He's so sweet. I feel like oh, since there's like on the road and stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
One lady's
They are a little trouble.
turn lane.
They're not exactly like. Oh, I don't know if they're in the. I don't know if they're in the. Oh, you know what? They might not be in the packet I have. Maybe that's why. Yeah. Look at the two problems I just told you about. I'm gonna go ahead and do those. They're a little tougher. That's what I want. Oh, this one. What? What? Oh, I know.
The what?
There we go. Oh, I really like this problem, by the way. Number 7. Dante has 27 coins that are all dimes and quarters. So you may want to try that one. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. Here, I'm going to do number 8. It's like the other two that you're working on. All right, come on up. Oh, I thought you said you did want to do it. All right, so number 8 is very similar to 2, so I don't know which page this is on, but it's in there somewhere. So it says it might be one of the ones I didn't tell you to circle. So because it's a little bit tougher, but since I told you to circle 2 that are like it, I'll do this one. Oh wait, hold on.
That is.
It's in there. It's just not circled. I think. I didn't.
I circled every single one.
That's not it.
That's not it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So if you have the word times in there, that means multiplication. That's the main thing you need to know. So it does say here that we need to make one of the variables the bigger number. So it says the larger of two numbers is 11 more than twice the smaller number. And then it says find the numbers. Again, there's no question, but we said if you go to the end of the problem and it tells you to do something, that's what tells you what your variables are. Or if you can just say if you can just figure out what are the unknowns, like what is it I don't know that I'm trying to figure out, that's it. So I'm going to do all the work up here. So we're going to say X would be the larger number. And then therefore Y would have to be the smaller number. So that's the first piece. Remember, every piece you can do gets you some points.
It's like 70. Okay, yeah, no, it's 8.
Yeah, it's at the bottom, I think, of the page. There's only 3 of them on the page. So now, I need to think about what it's doing. The larger of 2 is 11 more. What would 11 more than? What kind of math would that? Yeah, I would say you're adding to something else. It's 11 more than something else. So the larger number is 11 more than the other number. But there's going to be another piece we have to do. So if X is the larger number, okay, here's the tricky part. It's going to equal, because again, we can't add 11 to it. It's already the bigger number. So, oh boy, how would I say this? Well, no, this is right. So we're going to be adding 11 to the other number, right? Because we have to add to the other number. If X is the bigger number and we're trying to make them equal, we need to add to the smaller number. So again, you got to think through these a little bit. I know you guys hate thinking. So now we got to use this twice thing in here. So words, it's sort of a number, sort of not a number. It's 11 more than twice the smaller number. Well, we know the smaller number is Y. So what would twice the smaller number? That times 2. So we just say 2Y. Again, 2Y means 2 times Y. So that would be one of your equations. The bigger number equals the smaller number times 2. That's this twice part. But then plus another 11. Now we have to do the sum again. Oh, this didn't say sum. So there was no obvious thing, but sum tells you addition again. That word. So now we're going to use those two numbers, but we're going to have to do some other stuff to the variable. It's not just X plus Y this time. All right. So anytime you have the word times, I mean, this tells you exactly what you do right there. Just like twice the smaller number meant 2 times Y, 7 times the smaller number is going to mean 7 times Y. So somewhere in there, I'm going to have 7 times Y. That's going to be in there somewhere. Anytime you see that word times in there, whatever is right around it is what you're going to do to build the equation. It can get trickier than this. I won't, this will be about as hard as I make this kind of problem. So now we're going to be adding something to that. Oh, this is a tricky one. What's that word mean? Like if we convert it to math, what's it mean in math? Yeah, that's the equals. So is 1 less than 7 times the smaller number? We'll take care of in a second. Actually, let's move the. So here's what we know. We know there's an equals. We know the 7Y is going to be on one side. What would we do for the sum of the numbers? How would that look? What's the sum of the numbers? How would we write that? Well, what's the sum of the numbers? We just did that in the other problem. No, I don't mean like, what does that mean? The sum of the numbers means what? Well, to what kind of problem? Yeah, it means we add them together. Anytime you see the sum of the numbers, you're just adding them together. We just did that in the other problem. We just said the sum of the numbers is 12. X plus y was 12. The sum of the numbers was 13, I think. So we said x plus y is 13. It's just this time, it doesn't say the sum of the numbers is a number. It says the sum of the numbers is all of this stuff. So we use the sum of the numbers. So this part right here is the one side of the equation. The sum of the numbers, well, that's that, is the equals. So kind of like this, the larger of two numbers, x. So here, I'm going to write it in. This is the larger of two numbers part of the word problem. Larger of two numbers. Well, that's just the x. We just plug, I'm just converting what the words are into the equation. The larger of two numbers is the left side of the equation. So it's just x. Is becomes this. And now the tricky part is figuring out how do I write that? The 11 more than twice the smaller number. Twice the smaller number is pretty easy. That's not bad. That just means 2 times the smaller number. You got to figure out how to take care of the 11 more part. So again, every piece you get right gets you a little credit. So if it's not perfect, you can still get a passing grade or even a C, maybe a B. B normally is, you got to have some of the equations correct. So again, down here, let's finish this. So this is the twice the smaller number part. Can't see that. That's twice the smaller number is the 2y. And then this takes care of the 11 more than. Because again, we're trying to set the sides equal. If this is the bigger number, we had to add 11 to this side to make those sides equal. So definitely taking care of the more than and the less than part is going to be the tricky part. But if you get everything else right, you're obviously going to put 11 in there somewhere. You're going to know 11 has to go in there somewhere. Hopefully you get the side correct that you put the 11 on. So now let's do the second equation, same way. The sum of the numbers. Well, that was this part. The sum of the numbers. I'm just converting the words directly into an equation. So that's the sum of the numbers. Sum of the numbers is this part. Now I just say is equals. So I converted is into equals. I know how to handle 7 times the smaller number, so I just went ahead and did that. So this is the 7 times the smaller number part. Let me go in my room. So that's the 7 times the smaller part. Now I got to think about how to handle that last piece. So it says this part here, the sum of the numbers, that is 1 less than 7 times the smaller number. So I've taken care of 7 times the smaller number. Where do you think I need to, well, how would I handle 1 less than? Yeah, that would probably be subtraction. So now we're going to put subtraction in there. Where would I need to subtract to make the sides equal? So we know this is kind of, right now, this would be bigger than this if I just left it like that, right? Because it says this, the sum of the numbers is 1 less than this. So the way it is, the left side is smaller. If you don't get that, not much I can do, but the sum of the numbers is 1 less than, it's smaller than that. So I need to make the sides equal. So what would I do to make the sides equal with that 1? Subtract on which side? We'll do it on the right side. Because I need, right now, this side's bigger. Because it says this, if I just take the sum of the numbers, this is less than that. So this is smaller right now than the 7y. I need to make them even. Now I could have added, believe it or not, even though the less than is subtraction. If I just try to make the sides equal, I could have added 1 over here. But if we stick with the fact that less than means subtract, we would want to subtract from the right to make the sides equal. So again, the last piece will be a little tricky on a problem like that, like figuring out how to handle the 11 more than. You know that it's going to be plus 11. Figuring out which side to put it on is going to be the tricky part. The goal is you're trying to make the sides equal, though. Just remember that. You want the sides to be equal. That's what an equation is. So try to figure out which side it would go on to make the sides equal. That, again, that will be about the hardest problem on there, including all the other ones that are just word. I want to do one more. Did we do one with buses and vans in this class yet? Oh, we did. Okay. Oh, that's right. You guys got farther than the other class. All right. Let me just show one more thing then. Who was not here yesterday? I mean, 2 days ago. All right. So let me show you then pretty much everybody. Yeah, I said Wednesday. I corrected it. There's one piece that I'll show you that'll help you a little bit with how to like create the two different equations. There are some common themes to help you separate the word problem into like which numbers go with which equation. And there's an infinite number of these, but I'm just going to give you some that pop up over and over again. Let's see. Oh, shoot, went too far. Where is it? Not there. Here it is. All right. So we said these are some ways that they separate the equations out. I'm sorry, the word problems into equations. A lot of times it'll just be based on day one, day two. That there could be other versions of this. Like it could be two different months, like in May and in August. So month one, month two. So those are some common things separated out by like a time, like first week, second week. Again, if you're talking about like I don't you guys won't know this yet, but you know a lot of the bills that you have to pay, like a cell phone bill. There's a problem about cell phones. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they did this. The bills you pay are every month you have a bill. So they might separate out of some kind of a scenario where you pay this much one month. So that's one of your equations is for that month. And then the next month you pay like a different amount. So that's how the equations would be separated out, like by August and September or something like that, whatever the months are. So over here, we said sometimes there's going to be numbers about money and numbers not about money. That was the airheads and honey buns problem. Some of the numbers were about how much money he spent. Some of the numbers were just about how many things he bought. So that was one thing that we said. High school A, high school B. That was another one. So high school A had its own equation, high school B had its own equation. That's pretty similar to this. Person one, because there were some examples I saw where the equations were about two different people. Well, one person would have their own equation, the second person would have their own equation. The equations are built the exact same way. The only difference is person one would have different numbers than person two. Everything else is the same concept, same process. No, that was high school one, high school two. So that's some pretty common themes and different versions of those are throughout those same word problems. If you follow that process, another important thing we said is when you're trying to break the word problems out, if you start with just words and you're trying to convert the words into an equation, we said how much is one or in one. So if you say, well, how much is in one of them, or how much is one of them, if it's about money, and then times how many of them. That's pretty, I mean, you're gonna have to do that in every one. So that's something you'll do in a lot of the equations, especially if it's about money. You're gonna multiply the amount one of them is, the cost of one, times how many of them there are. If it's in the van and car problems, when you do for those, it's how many people fit in one van times how many vans, or how many people fit in a car times how many cars. Holy cow! We're shooting. Wherever. I don't remember where seat is. So go ahead. You got 40 minutes, at least 40 minutes to work on this. I'll walk around and help. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the word problems on the quiz are going to match up with this worksheet. I might change the numbers, but again, the story I'll probably leave the exact same. That's why I gave you so many of them. The more of them you do, the better off you will be. The less of them you do, the worse off you'll be. In driver's ed, I was scared.
After 3 weeks, I remember.
I was scared. Yeah, because the first time I ever drove on the highway was in driver's ed. I had never driven on it.
Driving because it's very hard, which is like a brand new kid. And it's a sports car.
Yeah.
Which makes it worse.
Wait.
And she was like, come on, Williams. You're driving it. Well, just literally right down the road. And I was like,
How old is your sister?
she's about to turn 20. My dad met her. But she literally booked me up for my nap to do that.
Mhm.
Like, dude, I can't have to sleep for a day.
Probably not the best of ideas, but
But then she bounced. Hurt.
thanks for wasting my band-aids.
Sir, they came off because I had lotion on.
Yeah, totally wasted my band-aids.
I was kind of had. Okay, I like walk around.
You are saucy guys. I mean, I like the broken finger or anything. For reals, how do you feel about it? I would think so. Where?
Like near Ash.
Ash. Like when you get older, I've been in that. I am not so Michigan. Why would I do that?
So we can like we can all go. Why turn 21?
Drink it.
But you're gonna be like
I may
70.
not even still be there.
They're like 70. You're gonna
Not
be in a nursing home.
quite.
You're gonna
Not
be in,
quite.
you're gonna be in a nursing home.
Not quite.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think you can drink at 70.
This is why your math grade is low, right there. Because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have often thought, like, will I go out, hang out with kids that once they turn 21 and stuff, or even after, I mean, once you graduate, I mean, the principal even said, he's like, just don't wait until they graduate.
And then we can probably be in the back of your truck. It could be your, what's it called? Tailgate.
You can't get in the back.
The tailgate? At 21, we can get in your tailgate?
Well, it's illegal to drive with people in the back of the truck. That's just not legal. Like, that didn't have anything to do with students. That's just illegal. That's the opposite.
Ow. Girl, what you talking about? I actually feel like this. Yeah, we should all, me, you, her.
Well, Jordan, they graduates from football. Like,
Oh,
he's already said, yeah, we can go hang out.
who?
Jordan.
We're gonna take, because I'm gonna be 21, we're gonna take 21 shots.
Like,
Each.
whether or not I would hang
21,
out.
21. Mr. Gill, did you see that? You're gonna say it? No, she turned 21 to take 21 shots. 21?
Yeah.
And you're gonna have 70. If you're 70, you're gonna be 70, you're gonna have 70. 21 shots.
I would definitely.
My turn.
There was a guy that died, like, locally.
So many shots.
Well, it was pretty much alcohol, but shots were definitely some. And they said how many he took, like in the article.
How many?
There's not a lot.
I chose 21.
It was, I think it was more than 21
So I'm good.
that they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like miserable drugs. Yeah.
And it's no fun. Look, it sounds great. It's no fun to be.
You could be a bad drunk. You could be like a crazy drunk, a sad drunk.
I'm
You
a
should-
fun drunk.
You are?
I'm
Yeah.
fun.
It's like you've been talking a lot.
I'm a lot
You
of
should
fun.
see my dad. Oh my goodness. One time he Hey, sir, can I talk to my dad? They want to watch it. If you give me a penny, no, listen, if I give me a honey bun and like, I put like an what is told we was we. I would not feel bad.
I knew that was going to be your reaction.
with my dad. He started crying. And I was like, why are you crying?
Well, alcohol is actually a depressant. It makes you feel happy. The drug itself is a depressant. So a lot of times it will make you feel depressed. Maybe not initially. Initially. It's a depressant. It'll make you sad. Why do you guys want the whole like on flight? Every time I have one of these, somebody wants it, or people love grabbing that seat, like I'm not able to let go.
Why are you drinking?
I don't have any. Yeah, but it doesn't work as well. Those pills are gigantic. Food works better with them.
Yeah, like kind of.
Yeah, it's just water doesn't really help. Now, if I drink something like milk that's thicker, then that works. No, it's fine.
But it's just like something that happened that I'm probably never going to use except to FaceTime.
I
Because I couldn't FaceTime people and be on my phone.
Oh, there it is. Is it?
That's what I hate.
Where?
And it would be so much easier.
Let me lose my ass.
Really just pick
That big, ugly, awkward ass. Seriously.
For the weekend. That's one way
Oh.
overheating, and I'm like, screw this. There's no point. Yeah. Well, we can never FaceTime. The only time that we FaceTime
Unbelievable.
overnight is when her mom was out of town. Her mom's with her mom.
Yeah, take something. Here. I lost my pass again. But now on. Oh, Jacqueline, hold on.
You have
How long ago did you go?
Good luck.
Okay, give him a couple minutes and I'll let you go.
You have an answer for the.
Well, I got home and then I took a nap.
You know what was number 7?
I didn't look at who texted me.
There's 7. There's like a million. That 7?
It was with the van and the bus.
Oh, we did that one the other day.
That's what I thought.
We might have done 8. In one class I did 7, and in one class because they're the same problem.
Yeah.
One class I did 7, one class I did 8.
I think it's, yeah. Remember what?
So I mean it'd just be like high school A is one equation, so whatever the
Right.
numbers are for high school
What
A.
the answers were for that?
Well, I mean yeah, just do 8 times one of the variables, 8 times the other variable equals 250.
Right.
He can pick whichever variable he wants. So
Well, yeah, we
He
did, but it was
assigned.
like the bus was like 34.
no, we're not solving. They're not solving. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, there's no solving. You don't have to solve, Logan.
Okay.
Just create equations. We'll do solving on Tuesday. We're on just creating equations today. But with someone. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't. You got it perfect. Lord, you got any taller?
Easier.
It's probably the shoe.
Yeah, you got it. I feel like you got taller.
Hi.
Good for volleyball.
Ladies, I don't think you want you TikTok in it.
Yes, what are you doing? No, she's telling you what you should be working on. And not to mention, you already know you need to work on quiz grades.
It's like I
Everybody look at Katie Powell or Kaylee Powell.
Wow.
Oh, look at Kaylee pouting.
I'm gonna I'm actually done. I thought we were bored, and I'm let everyone eat it.
No.
Like,
You guys need to start writing.
You're on mine? Oh. What happened? Watch.
Yeah, and you had A's.
Don't take
first
it.
semester.
Please. Oh. Oh. Okay.
There's no grades. Last week, you got
The urge to break it right now. He said he has like a billion. Why can't I? Mr. Gill, can I break this? Mr. Gill,
I don't want
Can I
you
break
reading it at
that?
all. It's mine.
so how come? Because Mr. Gill, can I break that?
No, you can't break that.
I thought you said you have like a billion.
But I like this.
Okay, well then bring those.
Because it's mine.
It's for you.
Why are you not working? You were. Go.
I need help.
Well, then sit down and I'll come help. You clearly I'm not able to help you standing right here.
Oh.
Oh no, sit down and I'll see what I have. To solve today. Today is just creating a equation. Off your phone. Off your phone. I'm gonna be really angry if I see a bunch of people not working and a bunch of people on
We're
phone.
working. You
You guys might find yourself on that list. You trust me. Ask second period up on that list.
What place?
Or you never shut your phone in. I don't care how much free time you have. You never. They have 20 minutes after one quiz. You never got to your phone.
Mr. Gill, I need help.
I'm gonna come over there. I'm trying to see if I have enough food. Pass out.
He was just yelling at us. Now he's gonna give us food. Anyways, do you remember sometimes I don't understand him. And that's all the point.
There's some.
Your time is in the work.
Oh. Here. How many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow.
Seven,
He literally
18,
just didn't want to get him. Now he wants it.
9, 11, 12, 13, 12.
No, but wait, what fight? You said something like 100,000. No. I'm gonna. I'm gonna do that something.
Alright. If you want a granola bar, raise your hand. That's it. There won't be enough.
My dad.
Granola bar, yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Where's Daniel been? Oh, Jacqueline, if you want to go, he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see where he's at.
If you want to go, just say somebody's out with a pass.
They don't have
Yeah. Oh. Well, try to do those two because they're just like that one.
All you're doing is setting up the equation. You don't have to solve them. Okay, so let's get the worksheets out. Let's get that going.
Wow, look at your funny. You look at your own and 5.
That's because you don't pay attention. Until I look back here at it, you're talking about this. Like, everything you guys say, you don't realize how old you are. No, you didn't say that. You said the actual word.
Oh, Michaela. I'm sorry, you have Michaela here?
Yes.
I drunk food.
Green light.
She meant to say cheese.
No,
She's like, it's not like you. She's like,
did
it's not
not
like
mean
you.
to say that. Yeah, make sure you throw your garbage away, please. M-I-C-K-E-Y. M-I-C.
I'm not bringing up middle school.
M-O-U-S-E. Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Mickey Mouse. There are my band-aids that are going to waste right there.
That's the old band-aid.
No. Not only does she
Really? Take your dirty
use my
band-aid off the
band-aids
floor.
and let them fall off, she doesn't even pick them up after.
I don't even want to see her.
That is not even mine.
Haley, I don't even want to see your room.
Okay, who else used a Band-Aid that fell off today besides you?
That's Katana's last name.
Yeah, Katana Melina was.
No, that's not my name.
Melina.
That's not my name. Katana Melina. It's small. Mr. Gill, bald man. Come on. Come here.
That is not hard at all. Exact same thing we did on number 7. Hey,
Yeah.
same exact thing. No, no, not hard.
I literally. What do you think? I'm gonna drive.
Maybe. Gotta tell me what X stands for.
Guys, the X stands for the big one.
No, X does not.
X stands for the bird. Like, Bobby, my first part, including my. You guys are like just talking like,
Yeah,
but she got me.
and I literally was like,
Great. I keep learning this.
bro.
What,
Mr.
what
Gill,
is the question?
that's weird for you.
That's what it is.
Find the adult. Adult.
Come on. Really?
Not how many of them are in there.
Nothing to do with bands.
No.
What?
Price for an adult.
People said that.
Define what your variables are. You always go to in the question. Here's the question. There's the question. That's not a question, but it's always a theme. You're gonna give you the information first.
Let's try this again.
Question.
Maybe if I ball it up, it would be heavier.
Still probably won't go anywhere.
First, you just make sure again, if X is about adults, the number 2 is about adults.
Mr. Gill.
If, well, that's the sequence problem. So if Y is about students, 5 is about students, and 5 is for Y's, then that's equal one of those. So it's not days, it's man.
You just said it was a weird.
Well, no,
Okay.
these are about, not these, the variables are about. But there's no day 1. The names by day. It's van 1, van 2. You try to. Yeah.
Really? Dude, that's weird.
You can keep your back straight, which is bad. All the way to.
This and I told
Do
you.
it. Then equals 7.
Guys, no, I'm
77.
Yeah.
And then equals 77. Yep.
Mr. Gill, someone bring up my phone.
Thank you for coming and helping us. I'm gonna ask you like.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. Okay, we should go.
Oh, whoa. You know what to do on the first episode. Obviously, you paid attention to everything. Obviously. Don't want to be here. Yes, you do.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Mr. Gill.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm still sleeping.
First step. Get away from my food.
Kill. Why is this so up cool?
Not trustworthy.
Someone literally wrong to other than me.
Oh my
Why are you
god.
getting my phone?
That was my. Oh, I didn't.
You're opposition.
Kennedy can say it. We have you on open. Mr. Gill. Mr. Gill.
I
Wait, hold
I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see.
right.
Let me see.
We got my phone back. He's like, I put milk crystal ice in my soda. Slide. No. I leave at 1. Why is your phone being something? I just am sure you
That's why I said I wouldn't worry. Yeah, go ahead. In all honesty.
Yeah, this is Slide. It's beginners. I need to like I feel like oh. That's the end. Whatever the part that what I do, I put ice. I don't know. Huh? What's cinematics? Is it like pictures? Like video? That sounds awesome. Let's redo it, man. You ready? Yeah. Talk it in. Ready? Slide. You need to watch the
First up.
in the video. Time lapse. I wanted to wearing the same shirt as that's how it is. You see the 4 months ago.
That's only what you do is set it.
So,
Mr. Gill.
You're gonna use.
there you go. And that equals.
Haley really. You have to pick one.
What's the question? Yeah, it's if they don't tell you what you no, you got it. Oh, that's fine.
I can edit it.
And tell you what to make the triangle. Let's say X has to be this.
Haley, put in your password so I can edit it. I'm sorry, she's recording you that video. Don't stop.
If it doesn't specifically say the actually not things for then yeah, you can take, again, based on the question when it's on. Why are you guys not working? You guys are gonna be crying next week after that quiz, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, remember you didn't do anything. Yeah.
I was so good about
Somebody needs to be with you.
you. Good about yourself.
Didn't you say you were gonna be in trouble the other day?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm gonna
In trouble?
Actually,
It will be.
I know.
Sometimes there's a lag time before parents catch it.
You knew it.
You didn't understand it's coming. It's coming. If you don't work. Okay, let's see what you need. No. What is a variable? So did you write that's an unknown number, or did you write a number down?
Well, I asked you guys, I said, yeah, pick one.
No, you started with X, but I didn't know you were writing numbers there. What's end of the like? What do we go to?
This
for
is
variables?
really hard.
Where do we go for the variables? Yeah, what part of the problem? Like you go there immediately when you're trying to figure out if you've read it. You said it like a billion times. Where do we go to figure out what variables stand for?
You're going to the end of the problem.
End of the problem, the question, or what you're solving for. There's one variable. There's the other variable. It literally tells you what the variables are at the end of every single question, every single problem.
So you write it down.
You can write exactly what the question is. How many times? How many quarters? If you write exactly what the question is, that's all you gotta do for the variables. Well, we did number 8, so look at number 8, which is very similar to number 1. Well, I want you to try to do as much as you can. Like I said,
Okay.
getting more than half of it gets you a piece of 30.
Yeah, I need help with so confusing. Stop, Mr. Gill. You make me sick.
Well, again, make sure you understand that how many dimensions, how many quarters. So now, what's it telling you?
If there's-
So what do we do? What do we do with that first bit of information?
Well, if you could like.
Wait,
Wait,
what do we do with that first sentence? Remember, the where the numbers are tells us the like they're going to be the equation. So that first sentence has a number. In it. So what's it telling us in that first sentence for the 27? We need to, that's a rule. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. Like if there's 27 coins, like,
Mr. Gill, he's right. I don't
so
think
what
this
is that
right.
27 made up of?
That's
So we're right. So what equals 27? How many ones? You could write it in words. Write it in words. Write out how many total coins equals 27. Like this is what I told you. Go through this process. Write it in words first. If that gets you credit. The first sentence is or equal. So that's in words. What's happening? That total number of coins added together. Well, but I want you to go ahead and write an equation there. Is equal. So the total number of coins equals. Yeah. And then just write it equal. So erase the is. Big equal. You can erase that. That's the beginning of your, and that is, after that is an equation. We just need to give more detail behind this. So what is the total number of coins? Well, that's about money. I'm not talking about money yet. We're just talking about the total. Not, so what is that 27? So in words, what are you doing to get this? Total coins are made up of what and what?
That is fun.
Think about it. You got a whole bunch of coins here. What are those coins made of? You got a pile of 27 coins right here. What's made up of? You're making it more difficult. What's that? Pile made based on that word problem. You got a pile of 27 coins. What's made up of what? So
Yeah, you do it as.
this total amount, how many dimes plus how many quarters, right? Make the total, how many times?
That wasn't me, bro. He gets out of this.
I'm not sure what they look like. So what is confusing? Like this total coins is made up of how many dimes you have plus how many quarters. That's what I'm trying to find out. So you understand this, the total equals 27. So all the coins we have, it said, because that's what it tells us. We have total 27. We're just breaking it out because we're going to need to, because what are my two variables? Well, so how many dimes? We're trying to solve and figure out how many dimes and how many nickels. We can't just leave everything in one bucket. That doesn't help me solve for individual variables. Right? So I've got to break it out so that I'm breaking the dimes and the quarters out separately so I can eventually solve and figure it out.
Well, if the total number, like all the coins, pushed into a pile. I wish I had 27 on that, but to break them out into two piles. I need to break it out into these two different variables. Well, X is how many diamonds, right?
But I don't think
Y is how many quarters.
start decimal.
That's what I'm adding together to get. Not you're. I think you're trying to bring money into it, not doing. Oh, your question. That's right. So after your question, what? You trying to solve it, or we're not solving it? I'm just saying. Well, again, no problem. You skipped Friday. You only got one day to learn everything in one day, and then. No, because we're doing something different. Because you still have to know how to solve. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, we have enough time. So I'm gonna do one of the problems very visually. So if you're struggling, you can watch this. So here's what we're doing. We're doing, what's that, number 7, I think, the dimes and quarter ones that I told you was important. We've got a problem on number 7. It says we got 27 coins. I'm going to abbreviate. 27 coins. Shh, I need silence. If you're not going to pay attention because you don't care, then be quiet. So I got dimes and quarters. I don't know how many dimes or how many quarters. I just know I have 27 coins. What's it say as the last sentence? That's your variable. I mean, again, I told you, your question, literally write exactly what the question is. That's what your variable is. Your variable is the unknown. So I would write, and again, they don't tell me that X has to be dimes or X has to be quarters. So I could make either one, whatever I want. I'm just going to say, how many dimes? Why? I'm writing exactly what the question is. That's all you do for the variable. If it's not in question form and they said, find the number of dimes or find the number of quarters, you got to understand that's still really a question. They're just telling you to find it. I don't know what page. It's pretty close to the back then. It's number 7. Remember that. It's one of the number 7s. All right. So now I got my variables. I know there's 27 coins. What else do I know? I have money-wise 435. Is that what it is? Those are my 2 rules right there. The number of coins is 27. That's rule 1. The value or the amount of money I have is 435. That's my 2 rules. So I just got to figure out how to create the equations from those rules. So I could say, like if I wanted to do words, total number of coins, total of all coins, we'll say, 27. That's an equation. Get you some credit. You told me you understand that all the coins in total are 27. Like, not value, has nothing to do with money. This equation has 0 to do with money. How much money I have. It says how many coins do I have? Well, what is this made up of? What are all the coins? Like if I got a pile of 27 coins, what is that pile of coins made up of? Like what's in that pile? What kind of coins? So wouldn't the 27 be made up of how many? I don't want to make it a question. So we'll say the number of dimes. Again, I don't know this yet. I can't write a number there, but I know that if I add all the dimes plus all the quarters, that's got to equal the total number of coins I've got. Again, I don't know how many are in each pile. So let's say I took the big pile of coins. So I started with 27 coins, all in one pile. And I separate them out into dimes and quarters. That's what I did. I separated it out into 2 piles of coins. Pile of dimes. Now I got a pile. I still don't know I haven't counted them yet. I don't know how many are there. But I got a pile of dimes
and I got a pile of quarters now. I just literally took the pile and separated them into two different kinds of coins. And that total still has to equal 27, right? If it equaled 27 up here, it still has to equal 27. I just have two piles now. That's one of your equations right there. We just have to plug in variables. What represents how many dimes? Still in unknowns. What's X? I labeled it up here. This is an unknown, which means it's a variable. That's an unknown, which means it's my other variable. So there's one of your equations. Now the other equation, and this is, I told you this before, one group of numbers is about money, one group of numbers is not about money. We're doing that example right now. One group of numbers, I don't have them here. One group of numbers will be about the money, so that's where the 435 is going to be used. One group of numbers is not, and it was really just the 27 because the other two were variables. But these are still numbers. It's how many dimes, how many quarters. So here's the only sort of tricky part. Is anybody still writing that? I got to scroll. Wow. It doesn't give me any more numbers, right? It does say that the value is, so anytime you see is, that's an equal sign. It says the value is what? So that's kind of like what my total number is, but only it's a total of money, not a number of coins total. It's a total amount of money, a value of the money. Now I know I'm gonna have to have an X and a Y because I've got dimes and quarters. So somehow I'm still gonna have the X and Y's on the other side. What numbers are, because they're not giving me any other numbers. 27 is how many coins. We don't use that in this. Once you've used a number, you're not using it again. So that's probably a good note to write down. Once you put a number in an equation, it's not going to be used again. Like, again, are there exceptions to that? Possibly, not on my quiz, and probably never. So I've used how many coins to create a different equation. What numbers do we not have that we need? Well, we don't know those we're going to solve. So we could put X and Y in there. I mean, we're going to be using X and Y. We know we got to use somehow the value of the. So what is that thing that I always come back to when I say, when you're at this step and you're probably struggling, what is that thing that I say, think about? Write it out all the time. Hopefully you've written it out. How much is one? How much is or in one, depending on the problem, times how many? What do you think the how much is one part is? Not how many, that's how many is on the other side.
Oh, how much?
How much is one? Yeah, well, what do we use? How do we fill that part in? How much is one? One what? What are we talking about?
Coins.
So how much is one dime? Yeah, we do.
Oh.
Never spent a dime before?
I didn't say.
There you go. That's the numbers. They expect you to know how much a dime is worth, how much a quarter is worth. So the how much is one is the value of one dime. The how much is one is the value of one quarter. So if we know X is about, X is dimes. So if we know X is about dimes, this is the how many, right? We labeled it earlier, how many dimes. So that's the how many. So how much is one? And you got to do it in a decimal. 0.1, 10 cents is 0.1. How 0.25, a quarter is 25 cents. So how much is one quarter? Well, it's 0.25. So that's your two equations. Well, again, the word problems that you create equations for, you won't have to solve. The only problems you're gonna solve will be the retake part.
So whenever you.
So the retake part, I'm just gonna give you the equations already written. So you won't have to solve any of the words talked about. Whose phone number? You go to that.
Okay. Let's start over there. Okay. I'm not gonna do that, so.
This could be another bad quiz. They just keep getting worse and worse and worse. You guys slack off more and more, and the quizzes get harder and harder. And I got people that. Oh, did I mention tutoring next Thursday? So I'll be here every day now since there's no flag. I'll be here every day for like 30 minutes, like 30, 35, 40 minutes. So if you ever need to come in, let me know. But Thursday, I'm going to stay for a while. So next Thursday, I will be here. I will be here for a while.
You want to hold the camera, friend?
Yeah, I'll hold it.
No.
Yeah, that would be a mistake, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, we haven't been out. Even though we're not your class. Yeah.
We're in my physical class or my solution.